sitting on a gold mine. That's what I eventually realized that I was doing here in this e-learning, this information marketplace, to where I could I could eventually, if I could learn the skills, if I could understand the blueprint, I could sell courses, coaching, events, or I could be an affiliate to other people selling information via those models. And over the course of several months, through really digging and I guess mining out this gold, that I actually realized that I was sitting on this gold mine. I was sitting on this business model that could give me the ability to be able to earn income and earn fantastic income and build a real business, modeling some of the companies, some of the marketers, some of the entrepreneurs that had come before me. See, I wasn't the first one, I realized, to actually discover this business model. And by the way, this business model that has stood the test of time for decades. Now, I'm sure you've seen, just like I've seen over the course of the last several years, and this happens all the time, and it's always going to happen. There's a new shiny business model. There's this business model. There's that business model. It seems like, or is pitched as, it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. And then we realize the pros, but also the cons of those business models. And ultimately, with most of them, we realize that they're just a flash in the pan. However, this business model of selling information via these core four models, which I'm going to talk about more in a later segment, the core four models: courses, coaching, and events, and also being an affiliate selling other people's courses, coaching, and events. Some call it the e-learning industry. Some call it information marketing. I realized that the path had already been paved for me, and there was fantastic examples. And through doing this research, through realizing that I was sitting on this gold mine, I realized that this was a business model, and these were skills that I needed, that I must learn, because this is the business model that I wanted to plant my flag, that I wanted to really dig my teeth into and build a business for many years to come. And that's just what I've done. But in order for you to really see that vision, to see where you can go, it's sort of important to understand what business you're in and the history of that business. And I'm going to show you essentially the same things that I discovered, some of the same examples, because history can teach us a lot. It's just like the history of a country. The history of anything can teach us a lot. It can teach us things that were done right. It can teach us things that we should avoid. And so I'm going to take you through, over the next few minutes, the history of this industry. And I'm going to show you essentially how, even though there's new mainstream terminology, which has made the concept understandable for the masses, like work from home, distance learning, online classes, that this industry has been around for a long time. The idea of selling information, and not just selling information as a college or a university or something like that, but actually selling information through the form of courses and ebooks and stuff like that. You know that we have turned this corner when these platforms like Zoom, which is a pretty much a simple webinar platform that allows you to connect with other people, do webinars, online meetings, allows you to share your screen, has become a household name. And that shift really happened in 2020 during the coronavirus pandemic, where pretty much the entire world was sent home for at least a period of time. Unless you were somebody who was a what they called an essential worker, somebody who worked in a store, somebody who was a healthcare worker. Pretty much everybody else went home. And this is a year that the mainstream marketplace really began to understand that they could deliver not only a lot of the information, but basically run their business from home, which sort of allowed, like I said previously, these work from home, distance learning, online classes. It began to make it a bit more understandable for people who were more traditional, brick and mortar, face-to-face style businesses and consumers. the truth is, though, massive e-learning platforms have been popping up, and they've been educating millions of students on countless topics and generated billions of dollars in revenue. Just a couple of them are platforms like Skillshare, Coursera, EDX, Khan Academy, LinkedIn Learning. There's Udemy is another one. I mean, there's countless, and these are venture-funded back companies, many of them, right? We know companies like Masterclass. There's various different companies that have a lot of funding, that have maybe a little bit of a different way of delivering the education, but still the concept is the same. Now even Google and a lot of these larger companies are getting into the game, which is going to make this industry that much more understandable by the masses. When these larger platforms, not only have these that you're seeing that I'm talking about right now, who have been sort of in the game for the past 5 years or so, they've helped, the sort of e-learning and information marketing world sort of become more well-known. But when you start getting the Googles of the world doing their own education, the Facebooks of the world, these kind of companies having their own set of education to both basically train people to essentially become employees at their company. Now, not only are they, I predict, going to create more mainstream education, but in particular, they're realizing that, hey, we can put out education, both sell it, but we can also create education that can prepare people to come be employees at our companies. All of this stuff, including the coronavirus pandemic of 2020, people going home to work, has created this perfect storm of people really understanding this concept of selling information online. E-learning, it has become mainstream. And even though the large companies like the ones that I just showed you are now catching on to this massive e-learning opportunity, right? Information has been sold offline and online via hard-hitting direct response sales letters and ads created by legendary marketers. And these are the giants whose shoulders we stand on. And I want to, over the next few minutes, introduce you to a few of these companies. And then I'm going to introduce you to the concept of direct response marketing. So first and foremost, Agora Financial is a company that revolutionized the financial e-learning niche, basically selling and marketing education information around investing, stock tips, stuff like that. And they also mastered hiring average Joes and turning them into top copywriters who pump out $1 million offers for their various newsletters, courses, etc. It's been rumored their financial newsletter business, compiled of several different brands, does upwards of $1 billion in revenue per year. And these are a couple of examples of how they sell their information. And we're going to talk again more about that here in the next module. But it's via direct response marketing. It's via hard-hitting angles, big ideas, all typically written via the written word in the form of persuasive copy. Copywriting or copy are words that are specifically written to sell, okay? And I'm going to give you copies of all of these. All of these letters, basically these are sales letters or sales pages that sold these various newsletters. I'm actually going to give you copies of them under this video. You can go and download them and check them out for yourself. And it's one of the ways that I've really become more of a copywriter and a marketer myself, is by actually studying and looking at how other companies sold their information. But again, all kinds of different angles, all kinds of different big ideas. You can see this one mentions the election. And usually what you'll notice with all of these pitches for these newsletters that they sold, they always start out with a big hook, an angle, a headline. They lead into a story. And and at the end there's a pitch or an invitation for you to subscribe to a newsletter that they usually sell for $49 to $99 upfront. It's a monthly or a yearly subscription, and then there's several upsells or as I call them, second and third helping campaigns. We'll get to more of that later, but it's interesting to sort of look at these. Again, this one's Super Stocks that never stop profiting, this new trading tool that works when stocks go up and down could turn 5,000 into 700,000, right? So again, I'm going to give you copies of all of these, but it's sort of important to understand the foundation, the early adopters of both selling information, but also combining it with direct response marketing and copy, which did the selling of these newsletters and courses. Again, another example. We have Bottom Line, formerly known as Boardroom. In Bottom Line Personal, the largest circulation paid consumer newsletter in the U.S., 24 issues went out per year covering health, diet, nutrition, investing, personal finance, and other consumer topics. As of 2019, it's been continuously published for 38 years. So Bottom Line, formerly known as Boardroom, again, another newsletter. In much of the way that they sold these, which you'll see more examples as we continue through this training, much of the ways they used to sell this information was via direct mail. So they didn't, this was before the internet. This was before we could run Facebook ads and Google ads and stuff like that. These are a couple of examples of online sales letters that sold various different newsletters and publications that they sent out, but a lot of it was done via direct mail. Again, we'll have more examples of that later. Next, we've got Eben Pagan. This is a legend in the game. Eben Pagan, who went by the pen name David D'Angelo, first released the ebook Double Your Dating in 2001 after building a loyal following on dating forums. Again, way back, decades ago when forums were a big deal before the Facebooks of the world. With exception of Ross Jeffries, he was the first of his kind to put out valuable information products in the dating niche and quickly positioned himself as the go-to resource. His brand name and pen name were strategically made to be catchy, all starting with a letter D. And he was a defining example of how to write compelling sales letters and make a killing on back-end sales. He sold about 20 higher-priced products. His dating empire reportedly pulled in a good $20 million per year, although he sold it to focus on his business growth products. Again, what he sold business growth products, he also went on to teach marketing, and he even still does that to this day. But this is an example of what his sales page looked like. All copy, all persuasively written, using headlines, lead-ins, stories, bullet points, magical transformations, of people who used his product and got results with, bonuses, risk reversal, guarantees. Here's your guarantee, 30-day refund policies, with strong calls to action at the end to click a button and buy. And again, we're going to continue to learn about direct response marketing, but it's important to sort of understand two things at once here. Number one is how information has been sold for decades and decades. I'm going to show you examples of how it's been sold even previous to, 2 decades ago here in a second. But the second thing to notice is that the style in which, this is sold. There are specific styles that we use. I'll introduce you in the next segment. It's called direct response marketing, and it's specific. It's when somebody lands on a page, there's one thing to do. You either buy or you leave the page. So there's tons of modern day e-learning legends. You see some of them here. My picture right there on the top in the center, you've got Dan Kennedy to the right, Brian Kurtz to the right of him, who was ran Boardroom, now Bottom Line, formerly known as Boardroom. You've got Anik Segal over there to the far right on the top, who's done countless different courses. You've got Grant Cardone, who's sold tons of sales training, built a multi $1 million, rumored to generate as much as $100 million a year, selling sales training, to companies like that have car sales companies and individuals, and has done events and does coaching. Utilizes, if you want to know where a guy like that made his money, it was in courses, coaching, and events. You look at his business model. It's courses, coaching, events. Now, a lot of people know him for real estate as well, but his cash cow that generates the money to be able to invest in real estate is selling courses, coaching, and events. So you have to look at where is the money being made? Where is the money being made for all of these people? To his left is Brendan Burchard. Again, all courses, coaching, and events. That's his entire business model. Danny Johnson trains network marketers doing events, courses, coaching. All of these people, you can see Russell Brunson, founder of ClickFunnels, got his start. And even the thing that carries that company is information. You've got Marie Forleo, who created B School, I think is what it's called, which is a program that she launches one time per year to mostly women entrepreneurs, teaching them about online marketing. You've got Jeff Walker, who created the product launch formula to her left. And he usually launches that once per year. And it's a information course, which on the back end, he sells his coaching and his mastermind event. You've got Billie Jean there. Again, courses, coaching, events, all of these people. You've got Ryan Dice to his left, digital marketer, courses, coaching, and events. You've got Tony Robbins down there on the bottom. Okay, what did he make all his money in? Courses, coaching, and live events. Okay, Frank Kern the same way. You've got Eric Worre in the middle there, who's sold courses, coaching, events, training for network marketers. Tai Lopez, now he's bought Radio Shack. He's bought Pier 1 Imports. But where did he get the money to be able to buy those companies? Courses, coaching, and events, all selling information. You got Jermaine Griggs to his left, who actually has sold some sort of musical training. He's got a business that sells piano lessons or something to people who want to learn how to play that sort of music. And then, of course, you've got Eben Pagan. All of these people, modern day e-learning legends, all the big gurus, all the people that you look up to online, all the people that you've been learning from, the legends, whether they're new or whether they've been in the game for decades. How did they make their money? How did they build their wealth? How did they build their riches? Courses, coaching, events, or doing affiliate marketing using these core 4 business models. Now, some of them sure have additional businesses. Some of them have created a piece of software or something, but it's all their cash cow is courses, coaching, events, and doing affiliate marketing. This is not to mention all of the companies. I don't even have an individual face to represent Agora or to represent some of these other companies that have been selling information products in these, more kind of unknown niches, health niche, fitness niche, a lot of the dating and relationship niche. I've only got one example here with Eben Pagan, but I mean, there's so many different individuals and brands across so many different niches who are generating together billions upon billions upon billions of dollars per year, and it's all from laptops. It's all from laptops with a microphone, and nowadays it's even oftentimes through cell phones. But what's cool is there's all of these people who are really well known, who, a few of them I just listed off there, but you can pack stadiums upon stadiums of people who are now getting a piece of the e-learning pie using direct response marketing, selling courses, coaching, events, and doing affiliate marketing, which leads me to the next episode, Underground Secrets of Direct Response Marketing. I'll see you there.